Hello, I'm Brandy Yates, and we're here with Kelsey Dillon, Park Naturalist and Stewardship Coordinator, to talk about the 2019 Deer Management Program. Kelsey, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Yeah, of course. Excited to be here.
So it's October 1st, and that means the kickoff of the 2019 Deer Management Program. Tell us about this year's program and maybe how it's different from previous years.
Yeah, definitely. So we are in our 9th year of the Deer Management Program. It runs October 1st to January 1st, which is the regular Michigan DNR archery season. Our program is archery only. It's currently on 38 Meridian Township and county-owned properties, and we have 83 hunters in the program. So one of our biggest years as far as how many hunters wanted to join and how many properties we have. It's the same as last year, but we added a lot of new properties last year. So yeah, it's a big operation.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the hunting, the hunters. They're qualified, they're handpicked, it's just not open to the general public, correct?
Yeah, definitely. So we send out applications in August for we send them out to all hunters who have hunted with us previously and also anybody interested in the program new, and they go through a background check process. We also partner with the MSU Demmer Center to do proficiency testing, so they have to show that they know the safety features of their archery equipment and that they can take proficient shots, and we have a couple guys over at the Demmer Center, evaluate that, so we know we're getting people that know what they're doing, they're being safe. We also go over a presentation with them about safety in the park, safety around trails, where to position your stands so as not to interrupt day-to-day workings of our parks, because our parks and land preserves are all open during our the whole season. So our hunters know the best way to be off the trails, be out of sight, and cause any danger to visitors of the parks.
So what should visitors of the parks be aware of? There is signage up, and if they see anything wrong or things, they can contact the police. But anything else you want to say for the safety of the residents using the parks?
Yeah, definitely. Just that it is safe. It's a very safe program. We've had no accidents in all 9 years of the program. You should see a little yellow sign that says "Be advised" on the entrance to any area that our hunters are occupying. But beyond that, you really shouldn't see much. They're off the trails. They're in the back in the woods usually, so you really won't encounter them. But if you do see anything suspicious, please do report it, because we have had instances of illegal hunting in our parks and preserves, which our hunters actually are the best at spotting, because they're back in these areas that you would never normally visit. So our hunters actually have helped us a lot with some illegal hunting on our property. And yeah, the police are always a great resource to contact if there is any suspicious activity.
So backing up, being the 9th year, why did this program start back in, I think, 2011, the whole reason for the deer management program?
Yeah, so the name of the game is deer population reduction. So we have had a high instance of deer vehicle collisions in Meridian Township. I think we're in the top 10 in Michigan for that, deer hitting cars and causing accidents. Also, we are getting a large report of landscape damage, more than usual and that you would normally encounter in Michigan. Also, as a park naturalist, I report on a lot of deer damage to our natural areas. We're not seeing regeneration of a lot of our native tree species. We're seeing a lot of the native forbs being eaten. So we're seeing just a ton of natural area damage. That's a really good indication to us that the deer population is just out of control in Meridian Township. So really what we're aiming for is always safety first, but second, really reducing that deer population.
So for, I know there's a lot of activists out there and animal lovers, and I am an animal lover myself, but have you seen the program work over the years? Or some people may question, how can you tell if it's working, or is there a reason to continue?
Yeah, so we at the Parks Department are all animal lovers. I firmly believe that all of our hunters are animal lovers. I think that, we're doing it for a really good reason, for the deer population control. If we're not controlling this population, it's going to control itself through disease or through starvation, which are not good ways for any animal to go. So we keep that in mind. So we are seeing a slight reduction in car vehicle collisions, which right now is our number one indication of if our program is working. We're also, like I kind of mentioned before, we're getting these hunters engaged in the outdoors, and we're really engaging this whole new subset of our community in our program. So we're getting a lot of reports of, dumping in our land preserves, of possible illegal hunting activity. They're picking up trash as they're going in and out. So it's really a nice way to get 85 people into our parks and preserves in areas that we don't normally visit, and they're saying, hey, there's a stand here, it's not marked, we don't know whose it is, and it might be an illegal hunter. So that's just kind of an added benefit beyond just the deer population control.
And you mentioned if there's no control of the population, disease. Several years ago, chronic wasting disease was found in Meridian Township, and I know it's across the state really now. So let's talk about chronic wasting disease. What should people know about that as in regards to the deer management program?
Yeah, so all of our hunters, we're operating under a disease control permit issued by the Michigan DNR for our program. So all of the hunters are aware of the restrictions of that program and the protocol. So they all have to take the head of the deer that they take to the DNR check stations. And then from there, the Michigan DNR takes that to their labs, tests it for CWD or chronic wasting disease. And at that point, if it's a negative clear, then the hunter can take that to a processor, whichever they choose. So there's not a lot known about chronic wasting disease, and we're discovering new things every day. We have a lot of studies going on, especially at Michigan State University and through the USDA and the DNR. So they're doing a lot of studies on chronic wasting disease, how it's spread. Right now, we know that it's spread through feed. So there is a baiting restriction in all of the Lower Peninsula currently. So because it's been found in a couple different places, so our hunters are not allowed to bait. There's also a restriction on feeding of deer, because that is a way to pass this chronic wasting disease from deer to deer, and it can be a devastating thing to the deer. It starves them. It's just a really bad way for an animal to go. So we'd really like to let people know that about these restrictions about feeding and baiting, and to really follow that. And if you see a deer acting suspiciously, you can give the DNR a call, you can give us a call, and we'll get it over to the right person, because it's a very serious disease and it can spread very quickly through the population.
And I know over the years since chronic wasting disease was found, do we have an accurate count of how many in the township has had chronic wasting disease? I know it's kind of random, especially with the deer management program.
Yeah, so I believe in Meridian Township we've had 5 or 6, so not a large number. Right now, most of the positives are coming a little further west in counties to the west of us. I believe in our core management zone there hasn't been that many, so maybe 11 total found, but we haven't had a positive in a few years, which is a really good sign. But it's not a sign that we're out of the woods. So our hunters are still checking all their deer. We're still, following protocol. We are still in what's known as the CWD management zone. So it's a zone that the DNR puts these more restrictions on than other parts of the Lower Peninsula. So we're still following all the protocol. We go by the DNR's recommendation, because they're really the experts in this. So what they recommend, we convey that to our hunters, and our program follows those instructions.
And one of the biggest impacts from the chronic wasting disease in the township on the deer management program is what happens to the deer that were taken. It was once venison was donated to food banks. That has changed since.
Yes. So because of the restrictions with certain processors that work with the larger organizations, Sportsmen Against Hunger, there was just a lot of restrictions on when the deer could get processed, and the hunters were having to hold on to the deer for a certain amount of time. So we had to let up on that restriction of you have to donate all of the venison. So currently the hunters keep the deer, but a lot of our hunters are, they can take as many deer as they can as part of our deer management program. But a lot of them, they'll put some in their freezer, but they donate to a lot of needy families, and they donate privately. And that seems to be working as far as, any excess venison is going to needy families in the community, even though it's not through Sportsmen Against Hunger, that venison is still getting donated.
Okay, anything else you'd like to say that you want to get across to the residents about the deer management program, or kind of clear up any questions that you've received?
I think you've hit most of them. Just that, this program's really safe. It's our hunters are really great people. They're your community, they're your neighbors. So most of these hunters hunt within the same neighborhood that they live. So they're all really great. If you see them out there, most of them are happy to talk to you about the program. They'd probably be happy to show you their stand and where they hunt and how they hunt. They're a really great group of people that are really passionate about what they do. They know that they're doing the community a service by volunteering. Most of them could probably have a better opportunity up north or on private lands, but they've chosen to hunt these very tricky public areas to hunt because the deer are constantly getting scared by hikers and dogs and everything else. So they're just a really great group of people, and they're hunting very safely in our parks.
And lastly, where can people find more information or ask for any questions or concerns they have about the deer management program?
Yeah, of course. So our website is a great resource for that, meridian.mi.us, and under the deer management page, you'll find my contact information, Kelsey Dillon. I'm happy to answer any questions. Also, the Michigan DNR has a wonderful website with a lot of great resources on CWD. They have interactive maps. So if you have any questions about chronic wasting disease or any type of hunting regulations, the Michigan DNR website is a wonderful resource. But you can always call me, and I'm happy to get you to the right person or answer the question.
Well, thank you so much, Kelsey. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Brandy.
And thank you for watching.